What if the one thing quietly pushing money away from you is something you touch every single day and never question for a second? Not your bills, not your job, not the economy. I'm talking about your wallet. Right now, there may be a few small things sitting inside it that look harmless, ordinary, forgettable, but they may be shaping how you think, how you spend, and how money moves through your life without you even noticing it. And here's the wild part. Most people carry these things for years. They never stop to ask what kind of message they are keeping next to their cash, their cards, and their financial identity. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 specific things that should never stay in your wallet if you want cleaner money habits, sharper financial focus, and a stronger sense of control. The first one seems tiny. The second one surprises almost everyone. And the third one is the one that changes how you look at your wallet forever. So stay with me, because if you miss the deeper idea behind this, you'll hear the words, but miss the shift. Many years ago, I was told something that stayed with me for life. I was told that a wallet is not just a pocket-sized container for cash and cards. It is a signal, a small, personal space that reflects your habits, your attention, your priorities, and your relationship with money. At first, I thought that sounded dramatic. I thought a wallet was just leather and fabric, folded edges and card slots, nothing more. But the longer I watched people live with stress, debt, waste, and confusion around money, the more I realized that small physical habits shape bigger financial patterns. When a person treats their wallet like a junk drawer, money starts feeling messy. When a person treats it like a deliberate space, money starts feeling more organized, more respected, more directed. That is why this matters. This is not about magic tricks. It is not about pretending paper and plastic have special powers on their own. It is about the effect of symbols, repetition, environment, and mental association. What sits beside your money can quietly influence how you feel every time you reach for it. It can create calm or clutter, focus or fog, control or leakage. And once you understand that, you never look at your wallet the same way again. Keep watching, because the first item is probably in your wallet right now, and most people don't even think twice about it until they see the damage clearly. The first thing you should never let pile up in your wallet is old receipts. I know, that sounds simple, maybe too simple, but stay with me. A receipt is a record of money leaving your hands. It is a printed reminder of spending, of outflow, of something already gone. One receipt may seem like nothing, but when they build up, your wallet starts carrying a stack of past spending, little records of departure packed tightly beside the money you want to keep, grow, and use wisely. And beyond the symbolism, there is a practical effect too. Receipts create visual noise. They make your wallet thicker, uglier, harder to manage. They make every payment slower. They make you dig, search, shuffle, hesitate. That tiny friction matters. Financial discipline is often built or broken in moments that look too small to matter. A clean wallet makes you more aware of what you have. A stuffed wallet makes money feel chaotic. I remember once emptying a wallet and finding a pile of forgotten receipts from meals, gas, random shopping, small purchase I barely remembered making. And that was the real shock. It was not the paper. It was the pattern. The wallet had become a museum of unconscious spending. That is what old receipts do. They normalize leakage. They turn spending into clutter and clutter into habit. So tonight, remove every old receipt. If you need one for a return, tax record, or warranty, store it somewhere else, not beside your cash, not tucked behind your card, not folded under your bills. Your wallet should not be an archive of money that already left. And there is something even deeper here. Every time you open a wallet full of old receipts, you are reopening finished transactions in your mind. You may not notice it consciously, but your brain does. It sees proof of spending again and again, it sees evidence of outflow, repetition, and disorder. That affects the emotional tone of the moment. Money begins to feel temporary, slippery, always moving away instead of being directed with purpose. Clean that out, and the feeling changes. Suddenly, when you open your wallet, you see what is current, what is active, what is real now. That shift matters more than people think. Financial improvement often starts with reducing invisible friction. It starts by removing little reminders that keep you mentally trapped in a cycle of constant spending. And if you are thinking this sounds too small to matter, that is exactly why it works so well. Big changes often fail because people try to rebuild their entire life overnight. Small changes stick because they are immediate, physical, and repeatable. A clean wallet is one of those changes. It takes minutes. The effect starts the first time you reach for money and notice there is no clutter fighting for your attention. That is when the brain begins to register a new pattern. Less mess, more awareness, less drift, more intention. And if this is already making sense, don't click away, because the second item is even more personal, and it affects people in a way they almost never see until someone points it out directly. The second thing you should not keep in your wallet is personal photographs. This surprises many people because it feels sweet, emotional, even innocent. A picture of your partner, your children, your parents, someone you love. It seems harmless. It may even feel comforting. But your wallet has one main job. It is supposed to be a place connected to transactions, choices, value, and financial behavior. The moment you place emotional symbols inside that same space, you begin mixing two very different experiences: love and spending, family and payment, emotion and financial decision. Over time, that blend can create strange unconscious links. Every purchase, every swipe, every cash payment happens in the presence of that emotional image. The mind is powerful. It connects things. It builds patterns. And without realizing it, some people begin to spend from emotion more than intention. They open the wallet, not just to make a choice, but inside a small emotional atmosphere. That can soften discipline. It can encourage guilt spending, comfort spending, impulsive spending. It can make money decisions less clear because the space itself is no longer neutral. This does not mean love is a problem. It means every sacred thing deserves its own space. Keep your loved ones where they can be seen with fullness, not squeezed between cards and folded bills. Put their photos on your phone, on your desk, on a shelf, on a wall, anywhere that honors them directly. But do not turn your wallet into a place where affection, pressure, memory, and financial behavior all blur together. If you want cleaner decisions, cleaner spaces help. Think about how often you open your wallet or reach into your bag. In a week, it happens again and again. Buying coffee, paying for fuel, pulling out an ID, checking a card. Now imagine that every one of those moments is paired with a face you love deeply. Even if you never say it out loud, that repetition can create emotional layering. Spending starts to feel tied to care, identity, obligation, or comfort. For some people, it turns into quiet pressure. They spend because they feel they should. They buy because they want to soothe stress. They avoid confronting money because it feels too emotionally loaded. A wallet should reduce that weight, not add to it. It should be a clear zone, a functional zone, a place where decisions can be made without extra emotional fog. And here is something most people never notice until they try it. When you remove personal photos from the wallet starts feeling lighter in more ways than one. It becomes more deliberate, more direct, more focused. You stop carrying emotional symbols into every transaction. And as a result, many people notice they become less impulsive and more grounded, not cold, not detached, just clearer. That is the difference. And clarity with money is powerful. It changes not only what you spend, but how you think before you spend. If you have a photo in your wallet right now, take it out with respect. Place it somewhere better, somewhere more intentional. Let your wallet return to its single purpose, because the third item is the one that quietly fills a wallet with stale energy, stale habits, and stale decisions. And once you hear it, you may want to clean everything out immediately. The third thing you should never keep in your wallet is anything expired. Expired credit cards, old membership cards, dead gift cards you already used, outdated insurance cards, past IDs you forgot to remove, anything that belongs to a previous version of your life but is still taking up space in the place where your current financial identity lives. This matters because expired things send a silent message. They say outdated, finished, no longer active, no longer useful. And when your wallet is crowded with expired pieces of plastic and old fragments of identity, it stops feeling alive. It starts feeling stuck. People talk all the time about feeling financially blocked, mentally drained, unable to move forward, and sometimes the spaces they carry every day reflect that exact condition. A wallet packed with expired items is a pocket-sized version of delay. It says you have not cleared the old. It says you are still carrying what no longer serves you. That affects you more than you think. Every time you see those cards, even for half a second, your mind registers unfinished business, clutter, neglect, and postponement. And postponement is dangerous when it comes to money, because once delay becomes normal in one small area, it tends to spread. You delay reviewing your budget. You delay canceling wasteful subscriptions. You delay making the call, sending the email, fixing the issue, asking for the raise, starting the side income. Stale objects support stale behavior. That is why expired cards have to go. Not later, not someday, now. And there is a practical layer that makes this even stronger. Expired cards make you less efficient in moments that matter. You search longer, you pull out the wrong thing, you hesitate at checkout, you keep dead options beside active ones, and that creates confusion. Clean systems create speed, clear choices create confidence. When your wallet contains only what is current, active, and useful, your entire interaction with money becomes sharper. You stop carrying leftovers from last year in the same place that should support this year's growth. You stop dragging old identity into present decisions. That matters more than most people realize. Financial confidence is not built only in bank accounts. It is built in repeated moments of order, repeated moments where you know what you have, why it is there, and what purpose it serves. So here is what you do. Empty your wallet completely. Lay everything out. Look at each item one by one. Ask a simple question. Is this active, necessary, and current? If the answer is no, remove it. If it is expired, destroy it safely. If it belongs somewhere else, move it there. If it is just junk hiding in a slot because you were too busy to deal with it now. This is the reset. This is the line in the sand. And once you do it, don't stop at cleaning. Because cleaning creates space. But space becomes powerful only when you decide what kind of energy, attention, and discipline you want to place there instead. After you remove the receipts, the personal photos, and the expired cards, do one more thing. Pause. Don't rush to stuff everything back in. Hold the wallet in your hands for a moment and actually look at it. Notice how different it feels when it is no longer carrying a pile of random history. Notice the silence of it, the order, the clean edges. Then make a simple decision. Tell yourself that from this point on, this wallet is going to represent clarity, not stress, not clutter, not absent-minded spending. Clarity. You do not need a long ritual. You do not need complicated language. You just need intention that is real. You can say something as simple as, from today, I handle money with attention. I keep this space clean. I make room for better choices. That is enough. The key is not performance. The key is consistency. Because once the wallet becomes a symbol of discipline, every time you touch it, you reinforce the same message. Be aware, be intentional, be clean in your choices. That repetition is powerful. It changes behavior from the outside in. And often, that is how real transformation begins. Not with a huge emotional breakthrough, not with a perfect plan, but with a physical act repeated often enough that it becomes identity. If this is resonating, stay here. Because now we move from what to remove into what this shift can start changing in your daily financial life. When people clean up this one small area, they often notice changes faster than expected. Not because money starts falling from the sky, but because their attention sharpens. They stop spending on autopilot. They become more aware of where cash goes. They notice hidden patterns. They feel the difference between an intentional purchase and an emotional one. They stop carrying the physical signs of leakage, sentiment-driven confusion, and expired decisions right next to their money. And that changes how they move. Sometimes the first result is simple. You stop buying little things out of habit. You stop forgetting what cards you already carry. You stop letting clutter signal chaos every time you pay. Then a second shift comes. You start respecting money more, not out of fear, but out of steadiness. You check balances more calmly. You make decisions with less noise in your head. You become less reactive. Then something else starts happening. Because clear people tend to act sooner. They answer the email, follow up on the invoice, cancel the useless charge. Organize the account, apply for the opportunity, ask the question. Small order creates momentum, and momentum creates openings. That is why this works, not as a trick, but as a reset. A wallet is something you meet almost every day. So if you change the meaning of that object, you create one of the easiest daily reminders of financial self-respect. And self-respect changes behavior faster than shame ever will. Now, let me be clear. This is not about worshiping a wallet. It is not about pretending leather can save you. It is not about replacing hard work, skill, planning, or wise action. You still need to earn. You still need to save. You still need to think carefully, learn, improve, and make better choices over time. But here is the truth many people ignore. Order supports action. Clean spaces support clearer thought. Repeated symbols shape behavior. If your environment constantly tells you that money is rushed, messy, emotional, and neglected, you will often act that way without meaning to. If your environment tells you that money deserves structure, awareness, and calm, you are more likely to rise to that standard. That is why this matters so much in times of pressure. When bills are rising, when people feel squeezed, when stress is high, the small spaces you can control become even more important. You may not control the market today. You may not control prices today, but you can control what sits in the wallet you carry. You can control whether it feels like confusion or command. You can control whether every transaction begins inside a mess or inside a system. That is not nothing. That is a foundation, and foundations matter most when life feels unstable. So if you have been feeling financially scattered, heavy, drained, or blocked, do not underestimate what a simple reset can begin. Here is the full practice in plain words. Remove all old receipts because they keep your attention tied to money already spent. Remove personal photos because your wallet should be a place for clear decisions, not mixed emotional signals. Remove expired cards because outdated things keep stale habits alive and clutter the space where current financial choices should live. Then rebuild your wallet on purpose. Keep only what is useful. Keep your bills straight. Keep your cards organized. Keep the space lean enough that every item has a reason to be there. And once you do that, protect it. Don't clean it once and let it slide back into chaos by next week. Make this a standard, a personal rule. If a receipt enters, it leaves soon after. If a card expires, remove it immediately. If clutter builds, reset before it becomes normal again. This is how a small act becomes a lasting identity, and the longer you do it, the more you start noticing the bigger lesson behind it. Your life goes where your attention goes. Your habits follow the systems you repeat, and many people have spent years asking how to attract more money while carrying daily signs of disorder in the very place that represents their financial flow. Change the signal, change the feeling, change the habit, then keep going, because the power is not in hearing this once. The power is in doing it tonight and then living like you mean it tomorrow. So before this video ends, I want you to make a decision. Not later, not when you feel more motivated. Tonight, open your wallet. Empty it fully. Look at what has been hiding in there. Be honest about what it says. Does it look like intention, or does it look like neglect? Does it look like direction, or does it look like drift? Does it reflect the person you want to become financially, or the habits you keep postponing? This moment matters because action creates belief. Once you do the reset, you stop being someone who only listens. You become someone who responds, someone who takes a simple idea and turns it into behavior. And that is where real change starts. Not in hype, not in fantasy, in action. Quiet, immediate, physical action. 5 minutes. That is all it takes to begin. And if you do it properly, you may be surprised by what follows. More clarity, less waste, better awareness, better control, a cleaner relationship with money every time your hand reaches for that wallet again. So take the step, clean out the old, remove the emotional clutter, remove the expired weight. Make the space reflect the future you want, not the leftovers of the past. And once it is done, keep it that way, because sometimes a shift in life begins with something as small as clearing a few pieces of paper and plastic from a space you stopped noticing long ago, only to discover that the space was shaping you the whole time. If you want, I can now turn this into an even more polished final voiceover script with stronger retention lines every 30 to 45 seconds and a smoother cinematic YouTube flow while keeping the same length.